And hello again, everyone. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene. Take a look at our schedule this week for you. We start November with an inside look at the Sooners' dramatic road win at Tennessee with Mason Young from the OU Insider, OU beat writer for the Tulsa World. We get the inside look on the dramatic 7-game World Series Los Angeles Dodgers World Championship with a member of the Dodgers coaching staff, former Tulsa Drillers manager Scott Hennessey. Randy Moss joins us to wrap up the Breeders' Cup, NBC's Thoroughbred Racing Analyst. And Michael Knight has the Redzone Report on Week 9 as we're getting closer to the playoff games for high school football. But first, we begin with this week's Tuesday's release, the first of 6 college football playoff rankings to the sports, leading the sports 12-team playoff bracket to be released on the selection Sunday, December the 7th. And no real surprises. The committee's first dozen, Ohio State number 1, followed by the other 2 unbeaten teams, Indiana and the Texas A&M Aggies. Then it's OU's next opponent, Alabama, 4th, then Georgia and Ole Miss. BYU 7th, Texas Tech 8th, and the 2 top Big 12 teams. Texas at 11, just ahead of Oklahoma. Number 12, OU is up to number 11 in the AP poll this week. In the playoffs here this weekend, Longhorns and Sooners would be the first of the 2 teams out. A lot of football left, and 5 more CFP rankings still to come. Here's this past Saturday's Big 4 area college football results. Oklahoma, of course, that great win at Tennessee, 33-27. Sooners now 7-2, 3-2 in the SEC. OU's first road win over a ranked team since 2019. Same story for Oklahoma State. Tough loss. Kansas 38, OSU 21. The Cowboys' 15th straight Big 12 conference loss. They're now 1-8, 0-6 in the Big 12. Arkansas lost another heartbreaker at home. Mississippi State beating the Hogs 38-35. Arkansas falls to 2-7 on the season, 0-5 in the SEC. Razorbacks had a record 193 yards in penalties. Mississippi State scored the final 17 points in the game. As coach Jeff Libby had his first SEC win. That was, by the way, the Hogs' 7th straight loss. That's their longest losing streak in 6 years. And Tulsa had an open date. They'll play this Saturday, November 8th, at Florida Atlantic. They're the only team of the Big 4 playing this weekend. OU is open. They'll play Alabama on the 15th of November at Alabama. Oklahoma State has an open date. They'll host Kansas State on November 15th. Arkansas has the week off. And November 15th, they'll be going to LSU. It took 2 minutes of extra time in the United Soccer League's semifinal playoffs, but FC Tulsa defeated Colorado Springs Switchbacks 1-0 at One Oak Field Saturday night for a raucous sellout crowd of more than 7,000. With goalkeeper Johan Penaranda and a stout defense posting a shutout, the winning goal came off a free kick into the box from midfielder Jamie Weber onto the head of Stefan Lukic, who put it into the back of the net. Sends Tulsa now to the USL Western Conference Championship semifinals this Saturday, November 8th, at One Oak Field against Phoenix Rising FC at 7 p.m. And as if FC Tulsa needed any extra incentive, the top 2 teams in the East, Louisville and Charlotte, were both upset. That means FC Tulsa will if they keep winning, they'll host the United Soccer League Championship game, the finals here on November 22nd. Well, the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder set a franchise record with a 7th straight win to open the season, beating New Orleans at home this past Monday. Thunder now on its first West Coast road trip of the season. They'll play this week at Los Angeles against the Clippers. Then they go on to Portland and then Sacramento. OKC returns to its home court at the Paycom Center for games next Tuesday against Golden State and Wednesday against the LA Lakers. The Los Angeles Dodgers became the first team in a quarter of a century to repeat as baseball's world champions. They did it last Saturday night with a dramatic Game 7, 5-4 comeback win in Toronto with the American League champion Blue Jays. Coming up, we'll talk with a member of the Dodgers coaching staff, former Tulsa Drillers manager Scott Hennessey. After a slow start to the hockey season, Tulsa bounced back with 3 straight wins, taking 2 at Kansas City over the past weekend, then beating Wichita on Sunday here 3-1. The goaltender Thomas Shuck stopped 45 of 46 shots. Oilers will stay on home ice at the BOK Center for games this Friday at 7:05, then Sunday against Allen, Texas, also at 3:05. Well, this may be a football season for Oklahoma State fans to remember, but the Cowboys did get something to celebrate. They won a Big 12 championship in men's cross country. They're 5th in the 6 years with the Cowboys, becoming just the 2nd 3-time individual champions behind Mizzou. The OSU Cowgirls finished 4th. Now both cross country teams will compete in the NCAA Midwest Regionals November 14th. They're running over their home course in Stillwater. And more good news for the Cowboys. Oklahoma State's wrestling team starts its 25-26 season, ranked number 5 in the nation. They'll host Stanford November 7th at Gallagher, Iowa. The Cowboys then come to Tulsa as the number 4 seed in the $1 million National Duels Invitational Tournament. That's the PLK Center, November 15th and 16th. This is the second season for OSU wrestling coach David Taylor. His team posted a 13-1 dual meet record last year and finished third in the national championships. Coming up next, Mason Young, Tulsa Royal OU beat writer, the Sooners' trip to Tennessee is the subject. All that next, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay with us.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Hockey is back, and your Tulsa Oilers are ready to skate down the competition. Friday night, November 7th, 7:05 at the BOK Center. It's Ladies' Night. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers hat. This is the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment.
It's turned over and going the other way.
Tickets on sale now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. It's the heart-pounding, glass-rattling, hard-hitting action of Tulsa Oilers hockey.
A glass-rattling hit in the corner.
This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers.
The Springboard Mile, a Kentucky Derby points race for 2026, is one of the nation's last major two-year-old stakes races of the year. Remington Park's top two-year-old race leads a stellar final night of stakes races as the season ends on Springboard Mile night, Saturday, December 20th. The first race is at 5 p.m. Remington Park racing action stretches to 4 nights weekly in the month of December. Normal first race is 6 p.m. except for Springboard Mile night. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
We're back on Oklahoma Sports Scene, and with Mason Young, who just returned from an 11-hour plus road trip back from Knoxville, Tennessee. Here's the Tulsa Royals OU beat writer. And Mason, worth the trip. What a game, what atmosphere, and how important was that for OU?
Yeah, Chris, what a game, and absolutely huge for OU to win that. I mean, already with 2 losses going up to Knoxville and knowing that crowd of 100,000 plus people was going to be pretty lively, pretty tough to combat. Tennessee, a very explosive offense with former OU quarterback Josh Heupel pulling the strings, and OU had to have it in order to keep themselves alive in the playoff conversation. They're not out of the woods yet. Obviously, they're going to have to come out of this bye week that they're now on and go play at Alabama. But you had to have the Tennessee game to get to the Alabama game with a chance of still being in playoff contention.
All right, give me your headlines from the game, your stories.
Yeah, so I one of the things that I kind of immediately wrote about in the aftermath was just the sentiment that Brent Venables and also the team conveyed of just being tired of all the criticism, all the here we go agains, and all the questions about is Brent Venables really fit to be the head coach of this team? And a one win doesn't necessarily prove Brent Venables forever. I mean, you just look back at the 2023 Texas game, and that's still kind of his best win. But this was right up there with it, and it was definitely a statement for them to go in there and win in that environment, especially when the offense didn't play well early. And then the other big thing was Tate Sandell. I mean, the OU kicker, he was arguably the MVP of this game. Wrote about him and kind of the uniqueness of a left-footed kicker, but also just the confidence that he carries, the chip on his shoulder that he kicks with. He kind of has this NFL kicker-like swagger. And for a guy that came from UTSA last year to be doing what he's doing for OU right now is really impressive.
You had reported as the OU beat writer that the team had a team-only meeting on Friday before they went to Knoxville.
Yeah, and basically the conversation was just, hey, we're tired of people disrespecting us and saying that this program's in the can or whatever, that OU doesn't have it anymore. And they went out and answered the bell with that. I think another big piece of that on Saturday night was the way John Mateer played. I mean, just he wasn't exceptional, but he was good. He was night and day better than he was against Texas, and probably better than he was against Ole Miss. Just move the ball in the second half when they really needed to, especially with his legs. The quarterback run game was super effective, and now, yeah, the molten lava criticism cools a little bit because this was a huge win, and everything that they've been fighting for this season is still in front of them.
Yeah, it looked like Mateer returned to early season form there, Mason. He had 80 yards rushing on 16 carries, scored that decisive touchdown right towards the end of the game. 19 of 29 passing for 159 yards and one interception as well. But it looked like the old John Mateer, and brought back some memories of the last time we were at Tennessee with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, even down to John Mateer after he scored that touchdown in the fourth quarter, 1 yard rushing touchdown. He shushed the crowd, which is something that Baker Mayfield did 10 years ago against Tennessee. And John Mateer said he didn't watch, or he wasn't really thinking about that. I mean, obviously he's talked with and has a relationship with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield helped recruit him to OU, but he said he wasn't really thinking about that. I don't know if I necessarily believe that or not, but his whole thing, his whole spiel after the game was that he had watched Gladiator for the first time the night before, which I also don't really necessarily believe, but he was saying, I wanted to do something from Gladiator, and then in the moment, the shush just felt right. But he was the man in the arena on Saturday night, and he silenced that blackout dark mode crowd at Tennessee.
And it obviously was a game for the defense. Three takeaways: the strip fumble, Arnation Thomas, that 71-yard fumble return for touchdown, the longest in Oklahoma football history, and that really turned the game around.
Yeah, I mean, if Owen Heineke doesn't force that fumble and R. Mason doesn't return it, 71 yards for a touchdown, things were not going in the right direction in that game prior to that. Tennessee had marched right down the field on their first possession, scored a touchdown. The OU defense was missing tackles left and right. They needed a spark like that. We may look back on that in a handful of years and say that's the play that saved the season, or maybe even saved Brent Venables' job. I don't know how it'll be viewed historically. We'll have to wait and see. But in the context of that game, an absolutely massive moment. Kind of unfortunate that Thomas hurts his hamstring on the play, but
Yeah.
Brent Venables said that he doesn't expect that to be a long-term thing. So OU will definitely hope that R. Mason can heal up on the bye week and be ready to go against Alabama.
Well, the Sooners held Tennessee to 18 points below their season average. They limited it to 63 yards rushing, 126 yards below their average there. Logged 4 sacks, 8 tackles, and really made a statement.
Yeah, I mean, you needed the defensive line to come out and play well, especially because they hadn't been able to generate a lot of pressure against Ole Miss, and their quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, was a really slippery guy. But Joey Aguilar, not the runner that Ole Miss's quarterback is, the Tennessee quarterback, he still managed to, get his. He threw for over 300 yards and hit on some deep shots, and his receivers also made some plays after the catch. But uh, OU was knocking him off his spot a lot, and that kind of resulted in the two interceptions that they had in the second quarter that turned into field goals, and those were huge momentum points as well.
Can't think of a better time for a bye week, Mason, to heal up and get ready to go to Alabama, then back home to a group of Tigers after that.
Yeah, it's a much needed bye week, right? I mean, all the emotion that went into the Texas game, losing that, having to go punch back in a must-win game at South Carolina, then the emotions of losing to Ole Miss at home and having to go win on the road at Tennessee. I mean, it's just been kind of 4 weeks of deja vu for this team. So to just catch a little breather and kind of have a reset here before now. It feels like we've said a million times this season. This is the biggest game of the season, but now we're looking at the Alabama game saying this is really the biggest game of the season because it's the one that probably decides whether or not you're going to make the college football playoff. So to have this breather to get some guys healthy is going to be really huge. And then I think the biggest key is, fixing the mistakes. I mean, Alabama's got some playmakers at receiver too. Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, guys that can that make things really easy for Ty Simpson at quarterback. So, getting your secondary shored up and fixing some of the things that cost you against Tennessee to be ready for Alabama's pass game, I think is going to be big.
Now here's Mason Young's letter grades for our Big Four football teams. OU gets an A for the effort at Tennessee. Oklahoma State, another F for the Cowboys. Arkansas lost the game, but played pretty well, B-. And TU had an open date. The SEC's weekly honors included two Sooners, junior redshirt kicker, the incredible State Sandell. He made all four of his field goals from 55, 51, 40, and 55 yards. Converted all three extra point attempts, setting or equaling 8 kicking records. And junior linebacker Owen Hennessey was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week, making his first career start. He had a team-high 13 tackles. His sack and forced fumble was then returned by R. Mason Thomas for a school record 71-yard touchdown, OU's first score of the night. Next, we'll talk with a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers coaching staff. Former Tulsa Drillers manager Scott Hennessey is next.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
The Tulsa Oilers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Baseball is over. The World Series ended in what an ending. 7 games, the Los Angeles Dodgers repeat as the world champions. And with me now is the guy who's part of the Dodger organization, former Tulsa Driller manager, now at the AAA level with the Oklahoma City Comets, a good friend Scott Hennessey. Scott, congratulations to the Dodger organization. What a World Series.
Yeah, one of the best ones I can remember. It was great for baseball, great for fans, and it's great for the Dodgers, and it's great to be a Dodger right now.
11 innings that Game 7 went to. It's the first time they've had a World Series ever end with a home run in the 11th extra inning. Just incredible game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, back and forth. They went up 3-0, and we just kept clawing away. Rojas obviously hit the big home run there to tie the ball game up, and then Steady Eddie Will Smith came through in the 11th inning, and how about Yamamoto going 3 innings after pitching, 96 pitches the night before. If you would have told me that, I'd have lost a lot of money. But just to go to show you his heart, character, will to win another championship, and just great team effort from that whole club.
Tell me about your Dodger manager, Dave Roberts. He seemed to pull all the right levers there, and he's won now 3 championships in the last 6 years.
Pushed all the right buttons. I mean, the moves he made, he takes a lot of heat. I think with what he did in that series, that should all be squashed. Like probably the best move he made all night was putting Andy Pages in. And, he basically ran over Kike to catch that ball, and just to go, shows you Andy's competitiveness, will to win. Coming off the bench didn't bother him. And I don't know if you saw that or not, but he was the number one on You Got Mossed. Kike was on ESPN. He number one on You Got Mossed. Great play by Andy. It just Doc pushed all the right buttons, and great manager.
Well, when it was over, after 162 regular season games, after 15 playoff games and 2 excruciating extra inning games, that one, of course, that marathon. I said how many innings was that? That one game, my gosh, forever and ever.
18 innings.
Oh, gosh.
18 innings. That's the second 18-inning ball game in the World Series that we had. And it was the other one was we played the Red Sox. I believe it was an 18. And that's when Muncy hit the walk-off home run in the 18th. So got it done both 18-inning games.
Well, Dodgers did it with a $350 million payroll, $1.3 billion worth of pitching, and they got every penny's worth of it looked like.
You got to get the right players. You got to get the right makeup, guys wanting to win. And, we're not the only ones with a high payroll, but I think we get the right guys. And definitely the pitching, the starting pitching came through in the playoffs this year.
Well, it shows 3 titles, 56 wins ahead of the rest of the field, 2 charter planes that Dodgers have. They do everything first class. That includes your operation. Tell me about, Scott, we sure miss you here in Tulsa, but tell you time in Oklahoma City and your time with the Dodgers here.
Yeah. My time was great in Tulsa. I talk to Wedgie quite often. I miss the drillers, miss the fans. But this is what they wanted me to do this year in Oklahoma City, and I think we did a really good job. Finished 18 games over 500, got a lot of guys to the big leagues. So whatever they want me to do, I'll do, but definitely miss my time in Tulsa.
Some of the Dodger roster guys or guys you set up through the minor leagues, who really stood out to you, guys you've trained in the past and now playing for the big league world champions?
Well, Will Smith, obviously, Robleski, Emmett Sheehan, 2 guys this year that were on the field in the 11th inning when we won it. Justin Dean, he had never played above AA this year. He made, all 3 playoff rosters. And Hae-Sun Kim, he was on the field in the 11th at second base. He came in for Rojas. So we're doing our job both with the pitchers and the hitters, and we'll just keep developing and the guys, and if the Dodgers need them, they'll be prepared.
I know the Dodgers always call up their top players. They also call up their top managers. Kept looking for you on the bench. You're on the DL list right now.
Yeah, I didn't know you knew that, but yeah, I had major surgery a couple weeks ago on my right shoulder. Good question, but they had to do it so I could be ready for spring training. I'll be out for a little bit, but I'll be ready to go in spring training.
Well, Scott, you've done a great job here in Tulsa, on Oklahoma City, and obviously it shows for the Dodgers. World champions again. Congratulations. Enjoy the championship.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you, man, and I appreciate you reaching out during the season, wishing us luck, and I'll come on the show anytime, and just let the fans know in Tulsa that I miss them, and keep going, keep supporting that team. And I know they did this year because talked to Wedge quite a bit, so great time there in Tulsa for me.
Scott Hennessey, former Drillers manager, now Oklahoma City Comets manager, and of course, part of the Dodgers World Championship organization. We'll be back with more on Oklahoma Sports Scene after we have this timeout.
He shoots, he scores! Hockey is back, and your Tulsa Oilers are ready to skate down the competition. Friday night, November 7th, 7:05 at the BOK Center. It's Ladies' Night. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers hat. This is the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment.
It's turned over and going the other way.
Tickets on sale now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. It's the heart-pounding, glass-rattling, hard-hitting action of Tulsa Oilers hockey.
A glass-rattling hit in the corner.
This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Hard to believe, but this is the final week of the Oklahoma High School football regular season. Michael Knight, PrepRedzone.com, joins us for recap. And Michael, how is that possible? Wow.
Yeah, it feels like just yesterday we were talking about the beginning of the 2025 football season. But, I think we say that every year. It goes by pretty quick. The off season is slow. The football season is fast. That's typically how it goes. But man, there's been a lot of great football played across the state of Oklahoma, and I've seen quite a bit of it. But we still got 1 week left of the regular season and then 5 beautiful weeks of playoff football.
Michael, is there any good news in Stillwater? Oklahoma State's having a miserable season, winless in the Big 12, and now number 1 Stillwater High gets upset.
Yeah, that was one that I didn't see coming. I thought that Stillwater was going to take care of business. I thought they were going to run away with that district championship. They're still a very good football team. They're still, I think, one of the top teams in that class. But you run into Piedmont, which runs an unorthodox offense where you're just not used to seeing it from week to week. They keep it a low-scoring game. They force some turnovers on Stillwater, which actually set up a game-winning field goal as time expired. So this game was close throughout. Piedmont, though, stunning Stillwater 17-14 as time expired. Definitely sending a few shockwaves through Class 6A2 last week.
And Carl Albert got pushed a bit by Guthrie, but they keep adding to that incredible win streak.
Yeah, 48 consecutive wins for the Carl Albert Titans. And I don't think I need to remind people, but I will just in case. The state record for 11-man programs is 58, and that was done by Bixby a few years ago. So Carl Albert has a chance to make some history. It wouldn't happen this season, obviously would carry over to next season, but 48 straight wins is incredible. They were pushed by Guthrie. The Blue Jays, the first team to really push Carl Albert over the last several years, to be honest. But their star junior running back, Elijah Matthews, had a really good game. They're picking up some momentum as they go into the playoffs.
Carl Albert going for a four-peat this year. Incredible. All right, let's talk about the games where you attended. Magnum at Thomas and Booker T and Coweta.
Yeah, starting on Thursday, Booker T Washington going on the road to beat Coweta. Coweta was undefeated coming into that Thursday night matchup, but Booker T Washington set the tone early. Their senior running back, Micah Washington, had a huge night. I mentioned setting the tone early, and it started with Micah as he had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter alone. That helped the Hornets jump out to a lead that they were able to kind of coast from there. Washington added 2 more touchdowns to finish the night with 5 touchdowns on the evening. It keeps Booker T Washington in the hunt for the playoffs, and more importantly, handing Coweta their first loss on the season. Now Coweta having to bounce back this week, but a fun game on Thursday. And then I followed it up with another fun game in southwestern Oklahoma in Mangum, down in Class A2. It was number 2 Thomas going on the road to take on number 3 Mangum, and Mangum, the home team, came out on top. It was a back and forth game, really fun atmosphere. Obviously I've been to a lot of small school football this season. I go to small school football every year. I do not discriminate. I don't just cover the large schools, the medium schools. I even cover the small schools. And that atmosphere was very fun. Obviously, it was a Halloween night there in a small town. You drive into Mangum, kids are walking on the streets, trick-or-treating before the game.
Oh, wow.
And then there was an absolute classic at what they call the Liberty Bowl down there in southwestern Oklahoma. And Mangum getting the win 28-21 on a QB sneak from Remington Laughlin, their quarterback, with less than 30 seconds to play. They come up with an interception on the final play of the game to seal that one. So that captured the district championship for Mangum. And they're going to be a fun team to watch in the playoffs. And honestly, Thomas is as well. Very impressed with both teams.
Another match of undefeated teams, Jones and OCS, a high-scoring game.
Yeah, that game was closer than the final score indicated. Jones, you look at the final score alone, and the Longhorns looked like they took care of business. That game was very close. It was, the Longhorns found themselves in a dogfight in that matchup, but they knew they were going to. You go on the road to face a team that hadn't lost all season. You know that it's going to be a little tougher than some of the games that you played so far, but Jones showing kind of what I've been talking about so far this season. If there's a team that's going to push Washington, who's won 3 consecutive state championships, if there's a team that's going to push Washington in the playoffs, potentially knock them off and capture that 2A1 state title, it might be the Jones Longhorns, and they showed a little bit why going on the road and knocking off OCS.
Some of the 6A1 powers just continue to roll here on the eastern side of the state here. Bixby 79, Deer Creek 15. Number one Spartan scored 72 straight points, remain the only 6A1 undefeated team. Jenks 73, Enid 6. Katie Jones 11 carries, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns, now more than 5,500 rushing yards for the KU commit. Spelt beat Muskogee 49-16. Also clinched the district title, beating Norman North 45-14. Bill Blankenship at work. And BA 29, Edmond Memorial 17. A tough game with the Tigers, second district on a first round bye.
Yeah, big wins all around in the Tulsa area. Out of those matchups, the thing that stood out was Sapulpa beating Muskogee. Not necessarily that Sapulpa beat Muskogee, but that they beat them the way they did. I didn't necessarily see that coming. I also wanted to throw this out there as well for KD Jones. He's closing in on the all-time rushing record at Jenks High School. When you consider the fact that he's only played at Jenks for 3 years, he played his freshman year at Broken Arrow. I think he's less than 400 yards away from the all-time rushing record at Jenks. They have one more regular season game, then they should have several playoff games. If they make it all the way to the title game, I don't see any way KD Jones doesn't become the school's all-time leading rusher. And when you consider some of the running backs who have come through Jenks, that's saying a lot about the Kansas commit.
Couple others, Michael. Sapulpa beat Muskogee, you mentioned 49-16. Sand Springs shut out Putnam City North 49-0. That sets up what they call the Highway 97 rivalry, week number 10 coming up.
Yeah, it should be a fun one there. I think that Sand Springs definitely has the edge. But then again, I thought that the Sapulpa-Muskogee game was going to be closer, so maybe I just have Sapulpa read wrong. But Sand Springs is my new number 1 team in 6A2. They have a fantastic offense. They haven't been tested in a while, but they're going to be tested this week with a rivalry game against Sapulpa.
And where will you be this week, Michael, if you look at some of the top games in the final week number 10 of high school football?
Yeah, one district championship that's going to be decided in 2A2. Top-ranked Vian taking on undefeated Valiant. So I'll make the trip down to southeastern Oklahoma. Last week it was southwestern. This week it's southeastern Oklahoma, as I'll go down to Valiant to see those two teams play. And then on Friday night, I'm going over to Hera as they will be hosting Tuttle. Not really anything on the line in that matchup. Tuttle's already got the district title locked up, but they're one of the top teams in Class 4A. I haven't seen them in person this season. I'll get to see them on Friday night.
Join Michael Knight, PrepRedzone.com to wrap up all the Week 10 action and, of course, look ahead to the Oklahoma High School State Playoff action. Coming up next, NBC Sports' Randy Moss joins us to wrap up the Breeders' Cup Thoroughbred Championships. A lot of racing action for you straight ahead.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers. Sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
He shoots, he scores! Hockey is back, and your Tulsa Oilers are ready to skate down the competition. Friday night, November 7th, 7:05 at the BOK Center. It's Ladies' Night. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers hat. This is the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment.
It's turned over and going the other way.
Tickets on sale now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. It's the heart-pounding, glass-rattling, hard-hitting action of Tulsa Oilers hockey.
A glass-rattling hit in the corner.
This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers.
Florida Racing held its World Championships, the Breeders' Cup 42nd running this past weekend at Del Mar Racecourse in Southern California. My man Randy Moss was there, NBC Sports top analyst. And Randy, great day, 14 Grade 1 stakes, 2 days of races, over $31 million in purses, and your overall impressions of Breeders' Cup 42.
Well, of course, Del Mar is just a fantastic venue. If anyone's never been to Del Mar, it should be a bucket list item. Even beyond the racetrack, just the town itself, the area is like paradise. And it was pretty much what we're accustomed to seeing at the Breeders' Cup, Chris. Just unbelievable storylines, right? They always seem to come to the forefront on Breeders' Cup weekend. The European dominance in grass racing, a 2-year-old that we can look forward to for next year's run to the Kentucky Derby. It just, a Breeders' Cup Classic that was as good as any Breeders' Cup Classic, maybe in the last 25 years for sure. And a Breeders' Cup Turf that was absolutely shocking in its outcome. So, all kinds of things to talk about with the Breeders' Cup.
Well, the headline event, as always, the $7 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Set the race up for us.
Well, it would have been nice, obviously, if the favorite and the impending horse of the year, Sovereignty, would have been there. But even without Sovereignty, who had to drop out the week of the race with the fever, you still had the 1, 2, 3 finishers from last year's Breeders' Cup Classic. Only the second time in the 42-year history of the Breeders' Cup that's happened. And then throw in some other good horses like Mindframe and Journalism on top of that. So it was quite the running, Chris.
All right, here's Larry Comas with a call of the Breeders' Cup Classic stretch.
And they're into the stretch in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And Forever Young turns for home with the lead. Journalism is second. Sierra Leone, Fierceness one off the rail. Still Forever Young to catch. Fierceness is coming. Sierra Leone and Journalism, they're coming to the finish. And it is Forever Young. Celebrate Japan! They won the Breeders' Cup Classic. Sierra Leone was second. Fierceness was third in a final time of 2 minutes. 0.19 seconds.
So the Japanese horse Forever Young comes out on top. This is the same Forever Young, obviously, that was third, beaten about this far in the Kentucky Derby. He might have been the best horse. Was third in last year's Breeders' Cup Classic, the first classic win ever for Japan. I'm certain it won't be the last. And the 3 horses that were 1, 2, 3 a year ago also finished in the top 3 this year, although in different order, right? Last year it was Sierra Leone, Fierceness, Forever Young. This year's Forever Young, Sierra Leone, and Fierceness.
Now on Friday, the day before the Future Star races, they have 5 races for the Breeders' Cup. And headline is always the Juvenile. How'd you handicap this race for the big 2-year-olds?
It was a classic East-West showdown on paper, and then that's the way it developed also. East Coast, you had Ted Nafi, the undefeated colt, trained by Todd Pletcher, the winner of the Hopeful, the winner of the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. And then on the West Coast, who else do you have but Bob Baffert with a $3 million colt by the name of Brant. who had won the Del Mar Futurity and a maiden race. 2 undefeated horses, East versus West, Pletcher versus Baffert, and the fans got what they paid for.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And they go right out to the front together. Brandt and Ted Noffey away 1-2. Mr. AP came out running in third. Then Comport, Litmus Test on the outside, and Trepido is the trailer. And Brandt will be the leader, but Ted Noffey is not far behind. He's a half length behind on the outside, 7 furlongs from the finish. Now Brandt's going to get a little bit of daylight here and open up a length and a half. And then it's Mr. AP third, Litmus Test is fourth. 4 lengths off the lead, just ahead of Comport and the trailer in Trepido. Brandt leads Ted Noffey onto the backstretch to a 23.46 quarter. A moderate tempo for this group as they continue their journey with 5 furlongs to go. And Mr. AP third on the inside. Litmus Test is fourth, just outside of him. Then comes Comport. In Trepido is the trailer. These 2 favorites have been 1-2. They went 46.99 for a half mile. Flavien Prat and Brandt. Into the far turn, John Velasquez and Ted Noffey just a half length behind. And then it's Mr. AP third with 3 furlongs to go. Litmus Test is fourth in Trepido and Comport. Around the far turn, Brandt and Ted Noffey. They have been together throughout, and now their noses apart. These 2 grays will come to the top of the stretch together in their bi-coastal battle, and they're into the stretch. And Ted Noffey has taken the lead from Brandt with 1 furlong to run. And then comes Mr. AP third. Ted Noffey there at the 16th pole. Brandt is not done yet. He's coming back. Ted Noffey, Brandt. Mr. AP's in it too. Here's the wire. Ted Noffey did it. Ted Noffey wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile over Mr. AP. Brandt was third, and Litmus Test was fourth.
Already, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner is usually tabbed as the favorite for the Kentucky Derby the next year. What do you think about the chances of Ted Noffey winning the 26th run for the Roses?
Well, that'll be the case with Ted Noffey as well. He's by the same sire, the Super Stallion Into Mischief, as Sovereignty, the winner, of course, of the Derby and the Belmont last year. He as the trainers like to say, he checks all the boxes. But there's a long way. Yeah. Long way between now and then. Todd Pletcher had a similar horse by the name of Forte a few years ago, who also won the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland before winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And he went to Churchill Downs on Derby week as the Kentucky Derby favorite. And lo and behold, he suffered an injury. So a lot of water under the bridge between now and then, but Ted Noffey's definitely the early favorite.
Well, 5 of the 14 Breeders' Cup races are won by favorites. But we want a long shot. Who was the big long shot winner of the day?
Oh, the huge long shot winner on Saturday was the winner of the Turf, a horse called Ethical Diamond, who had run half of his career starts over jumps, which has never happened before in the history of the Breeders' Cup. The trainer of Ethical Diamond is a man named Willie Mullins. His name doesn't ring a bell to most American horse racing fans, but he's the Aidan O'Brien and the Bob Baffert of the jumping world. He's an absolute legend in European racing, where jump racing has a much higher profile than it does in the United States. But still, coming over here for a flat race for the Breeders' Cup with a horse like Ethical Diamond, the Europeans couldn't believe that he was only 27-1 on the board. They thought he deserved to be about 100-1 on paper to beat horses like Rebel's Romance and Minnie Hawk. And yet here he comes barreling down the lane. The trainer Mullins, Chris, before the race told us that he thought he had no chance to win. He'd be happy to run 5th, 6th, or 7th in the Turf. And yet the horse not only wins the Turf, but wins by daylight at a big price.
Off in the Breeders' Cup Turf. And it's Rashabar who goes out to the early lead. Salawi goes right with him. These 2 out to the front together. Minnie Hawk is close. And now redistricting comes through with Rebels, Romance, and Goliath to the inside. Wimbledon Hawkeye takes back behind them, and Amalak is down toward the rail. 3 back to Rebel Red, El Cordobés, and Tawny Port. Then Hill Road to the inside, Ethical Diamond. And Gold Phoenix is last of them all. And he's 15 lengths off of front-running Salawi. Went 23.22 for the first quarter, so going a mile and a half. That's moving right along here. Salawi up top, the leader by 2.5. Rashavar, the closest pursuer, in second. Two-time turf winner Rebels Romance is tucked in third on the inside. Farther out, Goliath is in fourth, and between horses redistricting, Mini Hawk is outside, and then Amalot was down toward the rail. After that, Wimbledon Hawkeye, middle of the pack with 1 lap to go. Rebel Reds on the outside of Wimbledon Hawkeye. El Porto Base is next. And it's 2 lengths more back to Hill Road, who is just ahead of Ethical Diamond and Tawny Port. Old Phoenix biding his time through a 47.53 half mile. Into the turn they go, Salawi. All the way so far. The leader by a length and a half over Goliath. Rebels Romance is third on the inside. Mini Hawk outside in fourth. Rashavar fifth. Amalak is sixth toward the inside. 6 lengths off the lead, just ahead of Rebel Red redistricting and El Cordo Base. A length and a half back to Wimbledon Hawkeye, and then Hill Road, Ethical Diamond, Tawny Port, the trailer Gold Phoenix. 111.99 for 3/4 as Salawi heads up the backstretch in the Breeders' Cup Turf. The leader by a length and a half over Goliath. Mini Hawk and Rebels Romance are side by side. Rebels Romance getting an inside trip. Mini Hawk's going 3 wide. Around the far turn, Salawi, Goliath, and Mini Hawk. Rebels Romance needs a place to go behind them. Rebel Red has circled up on the far outside. On the rail, it is Amalok, and then redistricting, and they're into the stretch, and the filly takes charge. It is Mini Hawk who comes off the turn in front. Rebels Romance comes to take her, and Ethical Diamond is charging down the middle of the turf course and goes by them all. Ethical Diamond has taken the lead, and at 25-1, Ethical Diamond wins the turf. And then it was Rebels Romance second, El Porto Base was third.
European entrants won 5 of the championship races: the juvenile turf, juvenile fillies turf, the mile, and the turf, and of course the filly and mare turf as well. Some of the human entries in the race, who stood out as far as jockeys and trainers in the Breeders' Cup this year?
Well, Irad Ortiz is just on an absolute career bender when it comes to the Breeders' Cup. He's on pace, as Steve Kornacki pointed out in a report on NBC. You look at his age and the races that he's won, the Breeders' Cup races that he's won, and you look at John Velasquez, who I believe is 54, and you look at the Breeders' Cup races that he's won. And if Irad Ortiz rides as long as John Velasquez and continues on the same clip, it's something like 70 Breeders' Cup wins he would have by then. That's, Mike Smith leads the pack with 27. That just shows you, what kind of a path Irad Ortiz is on at the Breeders' Cup. They have an award that the media gives out at the end of every Breeders' Cup. It's the Bill Shoemaker Award for the outstanding jockey at the Breeders' Cup. Irad Ortiz won it for the 6th time.
Wow, amazing. Trainer-wise, our friend Bob Baffert picked up 2 wins, and now he's tied with Aidan O'Brien, right? 21 career Breeders' Cup victories.
Yep, they both passed the late D. Wayne Lucas, who had 20. It was tied with Aidan O'Brien going into this year. Look, Baffert won with Splendora, and then barely with Nisos, who outran his stablemate Citizen Bull. Aidan O'Brien scored on Friday with Brussels, had a couple of disappointments on Saturday. But in Charlie Appleby won his race with notable speech in the Breeders' Cup Mile. It's the 4th time in 5 years Godolphin and Appleby have won the Breeders' Cup Mile. Look, any 2-turn grass race you can pretty much count on is almost always going to be dominated by 1 or more Europeans. And they went 5 for 5 in those 2-turn grass races on Breeders' Cup weekend.
Well, Randy, they're called the World Championship races. How many champions do you think we had crowned this year that we're going to eclipse awards? And mostly, how about the Horse of the Year? Do we have any idea on that yet?
To me, Chris, it's a slam dunk. It's going to be Sovereignty, even though Sovereignty, couldn't run in the Breeders' Cup. They're not going to give it to Forever Young with 1 start in the United States this year over the body of work that Sovereignty has put up. Derby, Belmont, Jim Dandy, a 10-length win in the Travers. It's just unfortunate that Sovereignty didn't get a chance to run in the Breeders' Cup. If it had been someone like Sierra Leone, let's say, or Fierceness that had won the Breeders' Cup, then there might have been somewhat of a debate as to who the Horse of the Year would be. But given that a Japanese horse came in and won it, no slight to Forever Young, but it'll almost certainly be Sovereignty as Horse of the Year and champion 3-year-old.
Well, after 2 straight years on the West Coast and magical Del Mar, the Breeders' Cup moves east now with Lexington, the Keeneland race course in Lexington, Kentucky next year. And then the year after that, 27, looking forward to the new Belmont Park, right?
Yes. Yeah, Belmont Park has been under construction for the last couple of years. The old expansive cavernous grandstand at Belmont is no more.
Thank you.
Going to be a much sleeker, more modern grandstand that we're looking forward to seeing at Belmont Park. And they've also added a synthetic racetrack to their menu. So they'll have grass, dirt, and synthetic. So looking forward to not only to Keeneland, racing as it was meant to be, as they always say at Keeneland. And what a gorgeous place that is as well. Different than Del Mar, but just as gorgeous in its own way. And then we get a chance to get back to New York for the first time in a long time to have the Breeders' Cup there in 2027.
Randy and the NBC crew did a great job. Enjoyed the 2 days of race coverage.
Thank you, Chris.
How's your dog back there? He's still alive, isn't he?
Oh, Lucy. Oh, Lucy is doing what Lucy does best at 14 years old, sleep.
Well, best to Lucy and to Kathy and the gang there. And thanks for joining us, Randy. And by the way, we should be able to have a Remington Race Report coming up next. Here's a horse you haven't heard a lot about. A great feature story on Bobcat Bite next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at tulsadrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Every racehorse has a story, some more amazing than others. Recently, a young Oklahoma bred won his first career race. The fact he actually made it to the track to even race is his remarkable story. Bobcat Bite, an earned name for this smallish gelding, owned and trained by Pat Swan of Jones, Oklahoma. He acquired his moniker after surviving what turned out to be a vicious bobcat attack just minutes after he was born.
We came out of the house early one morning and we looked out in the pasture, which is just down from our house, and there was a mare standing over a foal, but I knew it couldn't have been her foal. So we ran down there and here this poor colt was tore up really, really bad. First thoughts was he's not going to make it, but the owner of the horse said, do what you can. We took him to Oak Ridge. And after about 2 days, they said, well, he's going to make it. And then I just never dreamed that he'd be a racehorse with the damage on his withers.
Bobcat Bite would be full of surprises. He had the will to live, survive, and recuperate, getting better each day. And his wounds started healing as he showed promising energy.
As time went on, he would run and play and acted like there was never anything wrong with him, and it's kind of been a little miracle after that.
Finally, patience and determination paid off for the Swan Racing operation and Bobcat Bite.
Quarter-mile left and Bobcat Bite feeling it tonight. Out by 2 to the top of the stretch. Bobcat Bite shows the way into the lane. Up the rail, though, now full of run. Here's Appeals Last Ride. Magical Max drifts out a bit second. Appeals Last Ride battling on, trying to keep up, fully funded, and from the back, Too Cold at Home. Bobcat Bite is out by 3, and Bobcat Bite is going to get there. Under Wiseman, Bobcat Bite wins it.
He came through so much, and everybody knows about Bobcat. He's actually one of the favorites around the track.
Bobcat Bite returned to action on October 30th, seeking a second straight win. Bobcat Bite is a very distant fourth, getting set to be passed by When Smokey Sings. The back two, Flash Humor, and Affixed. Into the stretch, Tresillian takes over as they straighten away. Off the turn, Better's Tresillian up by 3 with a furlong left. Close call. Now into second, Lord Hennessey back to third. Final 16. Bobcat Bite showed early interest in his next race after breaking the maiden a month ago, but he was overmatched in open company and claiming ranks, facing winners for the first time, and did not make the top 4. Checking in at under 1,000 pounds, Bobcat Bite may not have the physical size on his side, but he has proven to be mighty in other ways for his fans and the Swan Racing family. Remington Park Racing continues Thursday through Saturday, November 6th through the 8th, with the first race nightly at 6 p.m. Saturday, November 8th is the return of the Holiday Showdown at Remington Park. Your favorite holiday and Christmas holiday characters compete in races with photo ops, costume contests, and more holiday fun throughout the facility. Character guests will include Santa, the Grinch, Cousin Eddie, and many, many more. Holiday Showdown night Saturday, November 8th at Remington Park. The action begins at 5 p.m. The first horse race is at 6 p.m. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
We'll be right back to wrap things up here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay wide on Cox Your View, Channel 3 and Channel 93.
The Springboard Mile, a Kentucky Derby points race for 2026, is one of the nation's last major two-year-old stakes races of the year. Remington Park's top two-year-old race leads a stellar final night of stakes races as the season ends on Springboard Mile night, Saturday, December 20th. The first race is at 5 p.m. Remington Park racing action stretches to 4 nights weekly in the month of December. Normal first race is 6 p.m. except for Springboard Mile night. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Tulsa Oilers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Next week, here on Oklahoma Sports Scene, a very special guest, Dr. Brandon Kitchens, Tulsa Bone and Joint. Talks about the ACL injuries, surgeries, and what they can do to try to prevent them and fix them. Big Four football, just one team playing, the University of Tulsa, up the Golden Hurricane trip to Florida. Michael Knight has wrapped up the high school football action, district play getting ready to get underway. And then we'll have a recap of Remington Park's racing for the week. All that next week, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Be sure to join us.